Okay, now we actually begin using Photoshop. I'm looking at step number 3 on the grade sheet, and it says let's create the canvas. So I'm going to come down here onto my bottom dock, and you'll see this icon right here, the Photoshop icon. And you know back from our previous trainings that if you're missing it, go up to the Finder applications and just drag it down to the dock or open it from the applications on the Finder. So I'm going to click on Photoshop, open it up. I'm going to go to Main Menu, File, New. Main Menu, File, New. I'm going to select it. It's going to ask me, well, what do you want to call it? So I think I'm going to call it, according to number 3, RLS Athletics Photoshop and my name. So I'm going to go RLS Athletics underscore Photoshop underscore. And now I'm going to put in how big do I want this actual canvas to be. Well, on here I have it set to 8 inches by 6 inches. And so here, watch this, I'm going to flip this. Let's go to inches. I hit the drop down. And I'm going to go width is, set the canvas 8 inches wide. So I'm going to set this to 8. I'm going to set this to 6. So right now I have 8 by 6, okay? And when we're talking about here pixels, the way you have to understand it, see how now we're back to pixels, so I have 576 pixels. So you're going to find that pixels is actually a little bit smaller than if I go to inches. I'm going to set this back to 6 again. But in essence, I'm usually trying to guess when I get images off the internet what this different size. Here we all have a greater understanding of inches, so I'm just going to keep it as inches. So I'm going to go 8 by 6. Resolution. Anytime we're doing anything with paper, this is our general rule, set it to 240 to 250, and I'll explain later on why. And if you're doing anything, images that are going to be going to the internet, you only need to set it at 72. And again, later on I'll explain why. RGB, again, if I'm going to the web, I'm going to be using RGB. Any image that will be uploaded or be shown on a computer monitor. If I'm going to paper and printing this, then you'd want to use CMYK. Most important thing is if you are going to a printer, just call the printer and ask him his recommendations. But with this I plan on going to web, so let's use RGB. And I always set mine to a transparent background, and then I can fill whatever colors I want. Right now you have upwards of 8, 16, 32-bit. 8's fine for us, and that's speed rate, and we are fine. So I've titled it 8 inches wide on our canvas, 6 height, 72, looks good. I'm going to hit OK. Perfect. Now, before I go on, here's my canvas. I'm going to put it right here in the middle of my screen. I'm going to grab the edge. See, the size of the canvas is everything within the black line. I'm going to go ahead and go ahead and save this. And so go Main Menu, File, and I'm also say Save As. I want this to be saved. I'm going to put it directly inside of that folder on our desktop, and I'm going to call it RLS Photoshop John Harrington, your name, and save. So now that if this comes up, just say OK. You don't have much of a choice. Now that file has been saved to the folder on your desktop. On to step number 4.